Prepare to plunge into an abyss of mystery and pain, where innocence is brutally confronted by the shadow of fate. The story of Candela Sol Rodríguez Labrador, a radiant soul who flourished in Argentina, in Hurlingham, is a tale that echoes with the fragility of life and the inexplicable cruelty that can lurk around every corner. Her sweetness, the contagious joy she shared with her mother, Carola, and her siblings, seemed like a beacon amidst the forced absence of her father, enveloped in the harsh consequences of a world apart. But, in a fateful instant on August 22, 2011, the lightness of her 11 years was swallowed by an event that would forever change the course of her story. That afternoon, just steps from her home, a trivial meeting with her Girl Scout friends never happened. What lies hidden in the hours that followed? What dark forces intercepted the path of that vibrant girl? This case is an emotional and somber immersion into the initial and unsettling moments of a disappearance that shook a nation. Share this unprecedented episode so that Candela's memory does not fade and so that the search for answers continues to echo. Hello everyone, welcome to the True Crime Files Investigations channel. If you are a lover of real criminal stories, get ready for an exciting marathon. Every week, we will explore shocking and remarkable cases, the most complex and intriguing ones, with an in-depth analysis of the details and motivations behind each event, which leads us to question human nature. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos, and ensure you're always up to date with our exclusive content. Leave your like to strengthen our community and motivate me to bring more and more impactful and unprecedented stories. Get ready to discover the backstage of the crime world, learn about the failures of the judicial system and the stories of victims fighting for justice. Welcome to an investigative and emotional journey. I count on you on this journey. The truth is about to be revealed. So, fasten your seatbelts, because the investigation begins now. In Argentina, more precisely in the Buenos Aires locality of Hurlingham, the sweetness of Candela Sol Rodríguez Labrador blossomed. The girl, who lived with her mother, Carola Labrador, and her two siblings, radiated joy and had an enchanting ease in making friends. In contrast to the lightness of Candela's childhood, the absence of her father loomed, as he was serving a 14-month sentence for a serious crime in the country: cargo truck robbery, known as asphalt piracy. However, fate, sometimes cruel, wove a dark plot on that fateful afternoon of August 22, 2011. Candela, a girl of just 11 years old, left her house around 3 p.m., as usual, to meet her Girl Scout friends a few meters away. The meeting point was nearby, less than a block from her residence, and her friends were supposed to pass by after 4 p.m. However, that awaited meeting never materialized. At 4:15 p.m., Candela's absence caused strangeness among her friends. Intrigued, they decided to walk a few meters to her house to call. Carola Labrador's voice on the phone carried a growing anguish. Her daughter had left a considerable time ago, and her failure to appear for the meeting with her friends ignited a dark alarm in their hearts. Something terrible had happened to Candela. That same night, pain and fear drove Carola to report her daughter's disappearance. A frantic and massive search was initiated in the Villa Tzii sector, the last place where Candela had been seen. The days dragged on, filled with uncertainty and anguish, and the results of the search seemed null. On August 25th, the courage of a desperate mother moved multitudes. Carola led a poignant march, crying out for the whereabouts of her girl. Her image and her words echoed incessantly in the media, spreading the news throughout the country, which followed the case with apprehension and commotion. The voices of other children, Candela's friends, also joined the chorus of hope and supplication. Emotionally, they conveyed messages to their missing friend, imploring her return. "Yes, we want Candela to come back," they said, with childish purity and conviction, also addressing whoever was holding her captive. "The person who has her has no soul, no heart. She is an 11-year-old girl." The school, as a fundamental institution of society, became a point of convergence for popular commotion. The power of mobilization emanating from the school community and the initiatives taken, however small, added more and more people to the cause. The authorities, faced with national commotion, mobilized an unprecedented search apparatus. More than 1,600 men, supported by 2 helicopters, 143 patrol cars, and 16 trained dogs, scoured the region. Interpol also became involved, investigating possible links to human trafficking, one of the hypotheses considered. The hope of finding Candela alive motivated the offer of a 100,000 Argentine pesos reward, equivalent to about $25,000 at the time. The message transmitted by Carola on television, with the force of a wounded lioness, echoed in homes throughout Argentina. Her desperate appeals were directed at whoever had her daughter. Initially, the authorities ruled out any connection between Candela's disappearance and her father's imprisonment. However, on August 28, a sinister phone call to the girl's aunt cast a new shadow over the case. A man demanded money from Candela's father, threatening that otherwise, the family would never see her again. This information, which only came to light later, raised suspicion of a possible involvement of Alfredo Rodriguez, the father. Despite the incessant marches and supplications, the faint flame of hope would tragically extinguish on August 31st. 2 women searching for recyclable materials made a macabre discovery. Inside a black bag, they spotted a female arm with painted fingernails. Horrified, they alerted people nearby, who called the police. The confirmation of the terrible truth arrived with Carola's own presence at the scene. The autopsy revealed the cause of death: mechanical asphyxiation. Candela's body showed signs of violence and abuse, a sad reality in cases of kidnapping of women and girls. In addition, the body had been carefully cleaned in an attempt to erase any trace. The report indicated that death had occurred no more than 36 hours prior, meaning Candela had been held captive, alive, for at least 6 long days. The priority of the authorities now was to find those responsible for such atrocity. Initially, it was reported that a thorough house-by-house search had been carried out in the area. However, this information was contested when an anonymous witness approached the police, revealing the exact place where the 11-year-old girl had been held captive. The police raided a house 500 meters from where Candela's body was found, arresting Gladys Cabrera, the owner, and 3 other men. Among them was Nestor Altamirano, identified as the person who fed the girl during her captivity. All the detainees declared themselves innocent. At the scene, a glass with Candela's DNA was found, confirming that she had been held in that house, which was believed to be abandoned. The key witness in the case also denounced Hugo Elvio Bermudez as the main person responsible for the kidnapping and murder. The man lived very close to Candela's house and had a reputation for being a seller of illegal substances, being disliked by his neighbors. In his residence, the police found a vacuum cleaner, and in his red van, ropes and condoms. Added to these detainees were Leonardo Jara, identified as the author of the threatening call to the victim's aunt, and Gabriel Gomez, who carried out intelligence work in the area. What the authorities initially denied now became the main line of investigation: a possible retaliation against Candela's father, who was in prison. Adding to the failures in the investigation was a tragic and suspicious event: the accidental death of the key witness on April 23, 2013. The witness's identity was not properly protected, and security was withdrawn precisely on the day his house exploded due to a supposed gas leak. The death of Roberto Arturo Enibol represented the loss of a crucial piece in the puzzle of the case, raising serious doubts about the accidental nature of the event. To simplify the number of legal proceedings, the homeowner and 2 other men were released, being considered potential scapegoats. Nestor Altamirano was also released, with the support of the local community, who did not believe in his involvement, despite him being pointed out as the victim's caretaker. An organized crime boss and several corrupt police officers were convicted of other offenses related to the case, but not directly for Candela's murder. Only in 2017 did a court hand down the sentence for the main culprits. Hugo Bermudez and Leonardo Jara were sentenced to life imprisonment, while Gabriel Gomez received a 4-year house arrest sentence. The brutal murder of Candela Sol Rodríguez Labrador in Argentina left a deep wound in society and inevitably sowed fertile ground for theories and speculations. The complexity of the investigation, marked by initial failures and an agonizing slowness in punishing those responsible, ended up creating an environment ripe for diverse hypotheses, hovering like shadows over the search for justice. Among the raised hypotheses, one of the most disturbing and serious, pointed to a possible involvement of members of the police force itself in the heinous crime. The way the investigation unfolded, marked by contradictions, inexplicable losses of crucial evidence, and the death of a key witness under nebulous circumstances, inevitably generated severe questions about the integrity and honesty of certain police officers. The dark idea that powerful figures might be behind this atrocity resonated strongly with public opinion, undermining trust in the institutions tasked with protecting society. In parallel, another theory, perhaps the cruelest and most painful for the grieving family, insinuated that Candela's own mother, Carola Labrador, might possess hidden information about the fateful event. This suspicion, often fueled by conflicting information and the mother's own overwhelming anguish, added an incalculable layer of suffering to a tragedy that already seemed unbearable. Faced with the persistence of these corrosive doubts, Carola Labrador felt the urgent need to speak out publicly, vehemently denying any allegation of a lack of cooperation with the police authorities. Her words, charged with palpable emotion and a desperate plea for understanding, sought to dispel the clouds of unjust suspicion that hung over her and her already so afflicted family. In her poignant testimony, Carola expressed her deep gratitude to those who offered support and worked tirelessly to elucidate the case, while vehemently criticizing the bad intentions of people who, through rumors and unfounded accusations, only increased her pain. Candela's mother, in a cry for humanity, implored for an end to the invention of malicious stories that only served to aggravate her suffering amidst the arduous battle for justice. Carola Labrador's words reveal the immense emotional burden she carried, not only for the irreparable loss of her beloved daughter, but also for the agonizing need to defend herself against unjust and cruel accusations. Her moving testimony serves as a reminder of the fragility of the human condition in the face of tragedy and the destructive impact that speculations without any basis can have on the lives of people already deeply wounded. Although the Candela case finally reached a conclusion in the courts with the conviction of the main perpetrators, the theories and doubts that haunted the investigation over the years remain as a somber reminder of the possible failures of the justice system, the pain of a mother who fought tirelessly for the truth, and the complex web of mystery that enveloped the short and tragic existence of Candela Sol Rodríguez Labrador. The search for justice may have reached an endpoint, but the deep scars left by the shadows of doubt persist, like a painful echo in the memory of Argentine society. The sad truth is that a young life was prematurely ended, a victim of a perverse game orchestrated by adults who made the darkest choices. Thank you so much for watching this story. Your presence and support are essential for me to continue creating quality content. So, if you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes. Your subscription and comments are fundamental for me to keep bringing quality content. Leave your opinion in the comments, always with respect for the victims, and together let's build an even better community. Thank you so much for following my work, and I'll see you in the next episode.